no, he was a good brother. That's no question about that. So another thing I want to, that's gonna happen at 6:30. So we're gonna go to him. Another thing I want to talk about is last week we talked. If there was one word that you came away with from last week, tell me what the word is.
I would say it was based on the temptation.
That's it. That's it. That's one word. That's the word. And that's all I was trying to get across was just.
Oh, I've been thinking about that for a couple of days.
So we're I'm gonna let you have some time to think about what you were thinking or what you were thinking. I had every now and then I have one of them meetings where a whole bunch of people call me and a whole bunch of people text me that night about the meeting because something doesn't happen and people are thinking and you can't get to sleep or whatever. So yeah, I got a lot of calls that night about last week's meeting. And remember the reason why I went with that message for last week. Hey, Senator, good to see you, sir.
How everybody doing?
What's up, sir?
Gentlemen?
Good. Get something to eat, man. Get your plate. The reason why that message was so important is because we had several brothers, 3 at least, who have been dipping back in the dope world. And hey, John, so my proposition there was, how can you have gone through all that you have gone through and come out on the other side and then fall for the same identical temptation that you fell for the first time or the last time, whatever sent you to the penitentiary in the first place? This is just your African. You got a notarized?
You told me I'm moving, so you check that.
Okay, that's right.
Hey, can you get that one?
Ananiah is on, Steve is on. Good to see your face, son. We're just talking a little bit about, we're small right now. We're trying to wait on a few guys, but look at what I want to tell you is we're talking about what happened last week. And I got more calls, more texts from last week's message than I had in a while. But every now and then we have one of them doozies where everybody got more to say about what we talked about. You know what I mean? And so Steve or Ananiah, where you at, boy?
He up there?
Yeah, he's up there.
Let's see, is he muted?
Yeah, he's muted on voice and
That I haven't.
Yeah, I'm here, Pop. I was just muted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
here, Pop. I was just muted. Yeah.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. I have to join in on another meeting in a minute, so I couldn't make the meeting. But I wanted to at least listen in.
Okay. Now, did you listen in? You were here? You was here last week.
I was there. Yeah, I was there last week.
Yeah, just give me some feedback from that meeting.
I mean, it spoke to me in a sense too. I haven't went to the extreme of kind of falling back on any substances or nothing like that. But in terms of relationships,
yes, right.
Right now, we know we're dealing with a lot of health issues over here, so I'm just trying to take care of what I need to take care of here.
Oh, yeah, I understand. So, yeah, we need to kind of need to have a little talk, Ananias. So, either call me or just set something up, man. We just need to just do it one-on-one.
Well, can I chime in on?
Go ahead.
Okay, so from what I learned or what I was spoken to about the tempter is the more self-discipline, the more restraint, the more close you are to the creator or your center, the more temptations is going to lie before you throughout your life. When you are riffraff, and you doing already what the tempter wants you to do, he leave you alone.
Yeah, right.
And he lets you self-destruct. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how I was in the younger years. I didn't have that wisdom, and I didn't have it molded in a sense.
Hold on one second.
Yeah.
No, this is Alexa right here. Y'all know Alexa.
Yeah, how you like?
Okay. You get you some fries and some, I hope it's some fries, meals and some Coke, some, this what you got, potato salad? Okay, all right.
And
So
so-
hold that though, I hold that though, because that's important what you're saying. And then, that other chicken, is there still a lot of chicken?
No.
No. Then that's fine,
There's 4 pieces.
Did you say 14 pieces?
4 pieces.
So just please hold your thinking right there.
Yes, no problem.
Just to flip
Like I
it.
said, I'm one of the guys who it hit me for a couple of days. I was like, just thinking on it, so it's not gonna
Just
slip
throw
away.
them in there. See?
Yeah.
Just lift it up.
All right, how
Yeah, just throw them in. Okay.
you, lift that pan up, put this on.
Over here, now, potato salad.
Here we go.
Okay.
Pineapple, no.
Oh, that's
Melon.
it's yellow watermelon.
Yeah, I ain't never seen that.
Yeah, that's the little big.
I can only eat watermelon, it's really hot.
I was trying to see
Okay, I got it.
how you know my hand was.
Have y'all seen the yellow kiwi? Yeah, delicious, man.
Oh,
Okay, so, should I, Rashad, we're gonna take the glass off because we make the nervous. I think you got something on your mind.
No, I walked here, man. It's bright.
I got new glasses.
Okay.
I told you I had to go take the brains and get my glasses put in.
That's good, sis.
Thank you.
Okay, we're making that noise. Come on, quit making it.
No, that ain't me.
Somebody's
That
calling.
ain't me. Mine's on book. I cut mine off. I ain't never heard it ring like that.
Yeah, I cut mine off. That's Facebook Messenger.
Yeah,
Somebody calling on
that's, yeah,
Facebook.
somebody calling on Facebook. Mine's cut off.
Okay, can you turn it off, those sis?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. The whole thing, okay, shut it off. And so Esau was just talking about this whole thing about temptation. And look what I want to add to that a little bit about last week, and then I have some more, I want to come at it a different way, same landing place, but a different approach. You get what I mean? But I want to just add about lying. So one of the things that cause us to lie the most, this is just in my experience, I could be wrong. Some of us just got it in us. We just conjure up some stuff. But
Imagination.
But dope will make you lie, man.
Yeah.
This school got quiet, even in the small room it got quiet. Because you remember how many lies you was telling.
You gotta tell one lie to make up for the lie you told the
First
follow.
time.
Yeah, that lying, it becomes
Instant.
Yeah, and so even when the dope is gone and you got a little bit of distance between yourself and the dope, somehow, if you don't do work on lying, the lying will continue on. Oh boy, I wish it would. I wait for all the amen to die down. And you know what? Sometimes your woman or man, will just mess around and get away from you because you're such a liar.
Right.
Lying about everything. Where you was, where you been, where you going, how much money you got, what you spent, what you did. You lie about everything.
Unnecessarily.
Unnecessary. This is my real good point. When you don't have to lie, but you just be stuck into a habitual pattern of lying that just comes out.
And you know what, Shane?
So I'm gonna let you get there. So some of my guys, I'm just gonna take Roger Ellis for a minute. He's one of the guys I'm talking about. Y'all know Roger.
Yeah.
I'm not putting Roger's business in the street, or I could be, but I'm using a pop guy. Say pop guy.
Pop guy.
Yeah, I'm using a pop guy's experience to help us understand and see, how we gotta be careful we don't fall into these little traps, these petty traps, this petty existence of lying about everything.
Yeah.
Roger was, I haven't forgot you, son. Roger, one day, he was, Roger had him a good job. He had gotten a degree in computer technology in prison, and he really got good at it. I mean, and he was high powered. His skill was in demand. But then when he got home here to Minneapolis, he got in the group. He was living at the Pop House. He was doing fine. He was stacking his money, this, that, and the other. Guys that live in the Pop House, man, got a whole house. And they're only paying a little bit of rent, comparatively speaking.
Yes.
To what the market rate is.
Absolutely.
Amen.
So watch this. Come on, Doc. So watch this. Roger was stacking his paper. They was paying Roger good. Hey, real. Yes, sir.
Sorry, been late.
Yeah, that's all right. You can take that out, though.
Yes, sir.
And so watch this here. Where we got some chicken and grits.
Where the grits,
Okay, the grits are gone, but the chicken legs.
What's wrong with that, man? Chicken and grits, that's good.
Hey, all of Mississippi came out in blue. He thought I was holding back. Hey, Blue, I'm sorry, man. Next time I'll bring grits. So here, let me get back to the text. Lying. Let's say lying.
Lying.
Yeah. When you don't have any reason to open up your mouth and tell a bald-faced lie, I just believe you somehow condemn your own existence when you lie for no reason. But habitually, it can happen. So I'm gonna finish telling you this story. I'm gonna open it back up, and Esau is up first, and Steve, you're after that. But watch this. So Roger found a little chicken wing, but she was low hanging fruit. Say low hanging fruit.
Low hanging fruit.
What do I mean by low hanging fruit? Somebody explain it to me. Go ahead.
Somebody that is underneath where you're at, you're unequally yoked.
Stop right there.
There,
Stop right there.
rock,
That's good. Give her a hand. Give her a hand. Now look, sometimes watch this. Is so important. This is so important. Sometimes watch this. You can go to prison, and actually in prison you have become somebody else, and the person, if you happen to come back to a person who was semi-waiting on you, she remembered the person who you was. So she's trying to have a relationship with the guy you were. You're trying to have a relationship with a new guy, and the guy you want her to, and the person you want her to be. And there's a clash of that. And that clash creates an atmosphere for lying and procrastination. Okay, so here go Ron. Ron's got low hanging fruit. She sexed him up. You know all of this and that, right? And he was going on it. And so she was an undercover doping,
She's real low hanging.
Look, and I don't know how she wasn't that deeply undercover.
Under sheet.
Going undercover.
She was under sheet.
Rashad said, just a sheet she was under. But anyway, when she pulled the sheet off, she was smoking like a choo-choo train. And so up here, my man done went on and started hitting it too. Here. But while he was here, and they's in their little thing, he's getting up and going to work every morning, but at night they getting it on. While they was getting high, they have an argument. She is uncomfortable with some of his behavior while they both high. So she knows who to call. Who did she call?
Parole officer.
Oh, look, I'm talking to the right people. I can tell I'm talking to the right people. She called the Ghostbuster. And so the Ghostbuster said, man, what is going on with you? And you know, call him in, he ducked her for several days until he thought his urine was clean. He slipped by the hair of his chinny chin chin that time. She got up and decided she was going home. She wasn't from Minneapolis, she was from Omaha. And so she said, look, you know, you get yourself together and get a transfer because we going to Omaha. Now, you know, she gonna go have a fucking good time in Omaha. She was smoking up here.
Back in the hood.
Now, this right here, now I want you to think about last week's message, which was about
Temptation.
Right, and so here is temptation just flashing all the lights. Right? And Roger is not looking at none of these flashing lights, right? He got the low-hanging fruit, he's wide open, and now he's sprung. He follows her down to Omaha.
Follows her.
Huh? Yeah, follow. They go down there together.
Oh, okay.
Transfer his parole. Excuse me though. Transfer his parole, and then he get down there, he get him a good job. The place he was working for here had a place down there. They hired him there. He was getting, I'm talking about dude was getting 60 or 70 right from the job. With that high-tech data. And look, he messed around there, it wasn't too long before they was blazing again. And you know, but he would call us sometimes on the phone. And then he started talking about POP, about 4 kinds of people. You know, he's quoting the book. You know, he acting, he just lying. Right? Trying to appease himself, trying to make us think he's healthy when he's just lying. He's lying to himself. Just about, what, 3 months or 2 months ago, 3 months ago, she blew up on him again.
Inevitably.
Right. And so they called the police, said he assaulted her. They look at his jacket, take him to jail for assault. Minnesota say, oh, wait a minute, this is our property. Minnesota comes and grabs him from Omaha, brings him back to Minnesota. Then he's downtown at Hennepin County. Wait a minute. When he gets downtown to Hennepin County and he's been there a few days, who does he call?
Call Shane.
And what does he talk? He talking about man, I got on my 4 kind of people. I really get it now.
Yeah, guess so.
And man, and this woman, he said, man, I need a place to stay. I'm like, dude, you know, Tier's doing most of the talking with him, but you know, you have to be sober at least to get into the pop house, man. And I'm not saying people can't make mistakes or we're turning our back on. I'm just only giving you an example.
Right.
But he ain't the only guy. There's 2 more guys that slipping in and out of here, you know, hollering about, you know, it was a pop guy, this pop guy, that.
That's one of them right there.
No, I actually couldn't hear it.
I thought Gerard was just trying to give some sound effects. Like, well, we can hire him as the engineer or something. But anyway, this is what precipitated me to really get into this whole notion of last week's message, which was about
Temptation.
temptation. But now to do that, I use some scripture, and I just want to tell people in here, I am never trying to convince you to believe Jesus or Allah or Confucius or anybody. Whoever you subscribe to or not, that is your personal business.
Right.
But I was using a scriptural story, a historical story about wisdom that I thought you could understand. And here was this discussion. John, you was here right there. Here's the Jesus talking in English to the tempter. And they're having this discussion, right? And he's telling Jesus the things that he could do if he would just bow down and serve him. And this is sometimes what a bump will make you, wait a minute, I'm teaching better than you know what I'm saying. Sometimes a bump will change your mind. It'll have you telling your own self such a terrible lie. Hey, come on, take your hat off. It'll have you telling yourself a terrible lie. Telling you, oh, this is gonna be all right. No, this
Just one time.
yeah, that's all. And ain't nobody even gotta know nothing about you.
No.
Oh man. So that was last week, and I'm just bringing us back to this week. And Esau was just sharing something about last week's message. Go ahead and share.
Yeah, so basically, the way I see that particular passage story, the tempter is coming at you at your weakest because you're already powerful. You're already full of strength.
Right.
When you're not, you're riffraff. You can't be tempted. You're doing what he wants you to do already.
Yeah, no need for temptation there.
Right, carrying pistols, doing drugs, doing all these things. Like, I'm good. I want to get somebody who's on their square,
There you go.
who can't be shook.
Right.
That's what I'm here to do.
Oh.
So thinking about that, I was like, man, I like to think I would be on my The truth is, I wasn't on my square to my 30s.
Yeah, tell the truth.
Yeah. So when we met in 05, 06, I already did like 10, 11 years. I was on my way out the door.
Right.
I was the SO. I had to go to treatment and all that. So I'm at Alpha doing the treatment on my square.
On your square.
I was there for 26 months.
Come on.
Which was not easy, but I was in
No, brother, no, that's not easy.
Somewhere around the 20th month, I was like, Pops, I met someone.
Yeah.
She this. What should I do? He was like, son, calm down. I like, she beautiful. And so you go get some flour,
Right.
get a car,
Right.
and I was like, cool, I'm gonna do that. And I started slowly talking and stuff. Temptation. I was like, okay, so we went on a date, and the second date, I had about $50. Paid my phone at Walmart. Paid my phone, $30 on the phone, and then I had $20 left for this date. And I was like, well, I can't buy nothing else, can I? I was on my square for about 25 months.
Yes, sir.
And then the temptation, you should just steal that. You should just take it.
Right.
And I was like, I've been cool for all this time. I was in prison for 12 straight.
Right.
I've been on the street for 25 months. No issues. Maybe here and there a little something, but no issues.
Right.
And he's like, man, you got $50, pay the phone bill 30, you got $20 for this date. What you gonna do? I was like, I'm gonna steal it.
Be creative.
Still,
And it was DVDs and cassette back then, CDs back then, And as soon as I got out the door, about 2-3 officers jumped me and arrested me, And so it's like, I was tempted with the same juvenile thinking, the unsupported, isolated thinking, like I'm on my own, I gotta figure this out on my own, that I fell into as a teenager, as a 28-year-old adult, 30-year-old adult. I fell into the same temptation when I was on my square, the best I've been in the community after a 12-year bit, and the one thing that triggered me, I fell right into it. And at my weakest,
Yes, sir.
seeking the female, seeking the dating situation, threw basically all that away
Yes, sir.
for a couple of CDs and DVDs.
Give Esau some love, please. That's a hard thing to admit to. I just appreciate that you could sit here and be, just let me tell you some stuff that you don't know about it. I went to the Walmart where you stole the stuff from, and I talked to the security people there, and then you didn't just
investigate.
You didn't just, he didn't just steal the stuff. Then he tried. It was a snowy day, so he tried to run. And Esau's fast.
Yeah.
He tried to run, but he was slippery. He was slippery. People said he was slippery. You gotta take that off, man. Look, ain't nothing on your head in here. But watch this. You gotta take that off. He said, man, he's Willie. They said, oh, we thought he was on something because he kept slipping and he kept tripping over and going on the ice and everything. And I was like, oh man, because here's what I was trying to do. I said, if I can get them to work with me, I can get your judge to give you some play. But they had to chase you and all this and that. They were so serious about this, that, and third. The other thing, or maybe you remember this, which you might not, but you had a little car.
Yes.
And so I was trying, your car was outside of the Salvation Army, and I was trying to get your car so I know you would have it. Because let me tell you why. This one thing irks me, is to have a pop guy lose everything.
Everything.
I think somehow it frightens me. I'm gonna just tell you this. I got this thing, Will, about running out of basic stuff. Like, I don't run out of toilet paper. I don't run out of milk. I don't run out of eggs. Just
The essentials.
I don't run out of bread. It's just very few things. And if I go into the ice box and I open it up and I go for milk and no milk is there, I'm like, something is like,
What is happening?
It's like a flashback from long time ago when I didn't have and I can't take that. I don't want to, so we got a storage room where we just got a whole bunch of toilet paper. Just go down there and get your, But this really, I appreciate that you now have matured enough to share with the people in this group what you just shared. Because I'm gonna tell you, Esau, you are a good man, and you've always been a good man. But we just had to dig through some junk to get to the goodness that was always you. And this is exactly why the tempter, who knew you were a good man and knew you were powerful and knew who you were going to be, was continuing to try to baffle you and bamboozle you with temptation. And you identified it correctly, man. Give him some more love. Boy, we could stop right there. That's a group right there. Go ahead.
I just want to say, I think that, and even you speaking about temptation, from what I know about it, like if Christ was tempted, then temptation itself is the biggest manifestation of true power. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody who's not powerful gets tempted. Like, or else why would you be tempted? You're pretty much pointless. So if nothing else keeps you straight and narrow, you should understand, like, the temptation is like why I'm being. It's actually how powerful I truly am. So like that should keep you straight. Like, no, I ain't even worried about it, yo. I know where my power is. And the second piece is and I wrote it down. Is and this goes for me. This goes for everybody. I think sometimes you really got to tell yourself to shut up. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. Like that's really what temptation is about. I gave an example a couple years ago. Like maybe 3 years ago, I was in a store and I'd seen this polo shirt that I'd never seen before. It was a dude skiing with his skiing equipment, and I was like, that's crazy. He had the whole decal on it, and I was like, that's crazy. And literally, I'm like, yo, they want $90 for a shirt. I can't justify that one. That's weeks worth of food easily. It's like, how bad do I want to eat, or want to go hungry, or what? So I'm like, you know what? I could just
Steal it.
do it right there. And literally, at like, what's crazy is, I was like, I could just run out with this. And right then, I was like, shut up, though.
Right.
Shut up.
Right.
Shut up, fool.
Shut up.
Why?
Right.
Why? You got this whole, is it really worth it? You have to have that whole dialogue. And so I go up to pay for it. And as it just so happened, there was a customer appreciation, whatever, that day.
Coupon.
And it was like a 30% markdown, you know what I'm saying, off tops. As I'm paying for it, a dude, because the teenagers do, the young boys do, ran out with a hand. I watched him collecting stuff, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get this, and took off. And the cashier looked up and was like, man, are you serious? And then went right back to ringing me up. And I was like, it was just a funny little thing that makes you realize it ain't even worth it, bro. Just do what you gotta do.
The police would have been walking in the door right there.
At the same time.
All right,
You gotta
man.
tell yourself to shut up sometimes.
Yeah,
Straight
put your
up.
hands up.
Straight up.
Turn around.
Right.
Give him a hand for that.
Yeah. Hey, is that your shirt?
No. I got the shirt at home.
Oh, because that's polo too.
Yeah, no, it is. Ironic.
I never seen that when he got on. I thought maybe that was the one he hit for.
No, actually, because this
Can I
one got
go,
this on the back, so I can't
Yeah.
steal that.
He's loving Wow, that's amazing. All right, go ahead, Sheriff.
Yeah, thank you.
Since you next.
I wanted to tell y'all a little something about temptation. After I spent my 8 years in prison, didn't have a cigarette, I was so glad that I was clean. Never felt that good in years, man. I felt so good.
Right.
And I had so much pride in myself, just proud of accomplishing the things that I was accomplishing. I got GED in there, and I took a computer classes, got certificates, and the job service certificates. I was just moving up the ladder, man. Everything's going great, So, and my wife was hanging right in there with me, so when I get out, I go home, my wife picks me up, and we go home, and my wife, after we settled down, we got to talking and reminiscing, and she pulls out a pack of cigarettes. And I said, I really need to talk to you about those cigarettes. I said, if you remember, I told you that those cigarettes is a trigger for me. I'm not trying to make you stop. I wish you would. But those cigarettes are temptation. Because it leads to something else. For me, because I knew me. I got to know me, man, in prison. So the cigarettes for me, they have me taking a can of beer. From beer to wine, from wine to whiskey, marijuana to crack, and back out in the streets. So I know these things because I had plenty of time to figure all this out. To really search myself. So I got to talking to my wife, and I said, baby, I'm not just trying to get you to stop on account of me. I love you so much. I just want you to live a long life with me. And if we could just get rid of them cigarettes, so your health can improve. She used to cough a lot. So if we can get them cigarettes away, and then your health will start improving. Now, I can't get her to do anything she don't want to do.
That's right.
I don't run nothing.
Right. Come on, Doc. Come on.
But my wife agreed to give it a try. And for 3 days, she quit smoking cigarettes. And on the 4th day, she said, I want one, but I done made 3 days, let me go to 4. And I've been home over 2.5 months, and my wife has been stopped smoking cigarettes for 2.5 months now. 2.5 years. I'm sorry, bring that back. I said months.
You've been long on that.
No,
Okay.
I've been home
That's
for
good
over
stuff
2
right
years.
there for that. That's good what you love.
So what I'm just trying to make a point, see, that temptation is very powerful.
They're powerful.
It's cunning and baffling, just like you said it is.
Oh, come on, that's it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So I'm just letting you know that don't think there's not just that trigger. There's other triggers. 'Cause
Yeah,
the mind goes back
yeah,
to the street life.
right.
It sometimes the thing pops up.
It pops up.
I mean, and my temptation is like, whoa, you even make me go on that ride again.
Yeah,
Because see, that ride, I would lose everything.
yeah.
And it probably won't be able to bring me back behind that. So I'm just telling y'all, that's how it is, works for me.
Man, give Shelby some love. Now, Shelby is not the only one who has said cigarettes. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that, but it's so powerful every time I do.
Right,
That somehow cigarettes make you want a beer,
right.
and a beer make you want to have a drink,
Yeah.
and a drink, a couple of them make you want to go on and have a bump.
Right.
And then where we are, we back in, and it started out with the temptation was somewhere else.
Right, right.
Lighting something up in front of your face
Right.
have these properties to it. It's spiritual. Okay, I'm gonna tell you one more. I'm gonna just tell you this. I ain't gonna stay here because I won't get you no urges. But watch this. Watch. You know how when you was smoking, you have to take one of the elements, which is fire, and put it onto a pebble, liquefy the pebble, and then turn it into smoke. And then you could look right at the smoke, and it almost seemed like it had a voice. A voice of smoke would have a voice saying, come on and hit this. Hurry and hit this. Take this pipe out of her mouth and put it in yours.
Right now.
Yeah.
Bring me
And,
up,
and so it's the same for some people. Same with weed. It's just the process of lighting something up,
Right.
and then turning what was a solid into something that becomes smoke. Right? Spiritual, right?
Yeah.
It's, for instance, and let me give you a juxtaposition of that. Those people who are seeking higher learning or a greater relationship with the Creator, what do they do to create the atmosphere for prayer? They light frankincense and myrrh. And frankincense is an old spice, very old spice, and myrrh, a very old spice. And when you combine these two, you light charcoal, small charcoals type thing, you light them, and then, in the ceremony, and you throw the frankincense and myrrh onto the charcoal, and then it fire up and send an aroma through the room that's so purifying, and so liberating. It seemed like it'll take your thinking up a notch or two just by you being in the room when these things happen. So I'm justifying one with the other. This is how the thing can play with your mind when you start messing with fire or water or smoke. You are in the spirit realm.
That's good.
You get it? You're in the spirit realm, and right there, you're small potatoes in the realm of the spirit. You get what I mean now?
Yeah, I never thought of that.
Okay.
Me neither.
Okay, but sis, you next. Antonio, you after that. Then I'm going back to the back. Go ahead.
So, I'm kind of ashamed of this, but not really no more. But when I first came back, everybody knows my brother got me from prison and brought me here, and I was doing good, working at Second Chance, doing all the pop guy stuff. I was at Second Chance. I was doing good, I was working for over a year, which is the longest I've ever had a job. Really, I've never had a job. So, I was doing good, and I got very comfortable because I was living with my brother. So I had a place to lay my head. I didn't have to worry about that. It was too comfortable. People were giving me too much, and I got comfortable. And one day, a lady that worked with me, because I used to catch the bus, and Duval and Dougie Fresh and all them would, stay with me on the bus in the cold, you know, even though they could have been home to the pop out. And this day, nobody was with me but this lady from the work. And she said, it's my birthday. Let's stop and, you know, play some darts. And then when we got there, it was a bar. She said, let's have a drink. Well, then it was over. So she said, well, okay, I'm gonna see you tomorrow. Well, I went straight, I'm right there on Hennepin. I went straight down there and asked him where the crack is. Where is it at? I had money, it was payday, you know, and then I had money saved up because my brother was like, save money in a book at the house. Well, I called that night and Shane knew. He said, you've been using. And since you gotta come get your stuff. That same night, I got put out. I was out. So, you know, and you know, I'm not mad about it. I was then, but you know, so I was in relapse for a couple months until I came to myself, and then I put myself in treatment. Well, people helped me get into treatment, but you know, just that one drink and that one, you know, and that lack of support, you know, and being comfortable in, you know, you can never be comfortable. You gotta, you know, I always have to strive to do something more for somebody, or I have to be doing something positive, or I'm very easy to fall back because that's where I've been all my life. So, you know, yeah, you was talking about your, you know, and it just, I never talked about it, but I relapsed when I first got back here. So I've only been back sober about 5 years. You know, people say it's like 7 or 8 when I first got back, but no, I caught one, and then I caught a case, and I didn't even remember. That's how far I was out there until I was trying to get a job, and everybody turning me down. And my friend said, do you know you have a warrant? I had forgot. I went to Walmart and didn't scan some stuff, and they stopped me and trespassed me. But I thought that's all they did, but obviously they gave me a court date and I didn't have nowhere to stay, so I had a warrant. So I just lately had to straighten that up, you know. So it all comes with consequences, you know. You get consequences, you know, that, you know, and I'm glad it got thrown out. That's none but the Lord, because that's just another thing, even though it's a small thing, that keeps me from not having something that for 10 years. You know, you haven't been arrested for 10 years, then people will look at. But if you got any little thing in that 10 years, that's just like
a continuation.
Yeah. So them little hiccups, you know, they're not just hiccups, especially when you're a felon, you know. Yeah, it's any little thing, you know, back on your record, and you know you can't get, you know, what you're working for. You know, we're working to do bigger things, you know, and you can't. You just can't do it if you got a little theft on your record. When you're a felon, that brings back everything else back then, you know, and so it's not good. You have to stay mindful of
Focus.
Triggers. Yeah.
Okay, that was really great. Give myself a that's the level of honesty right there, so critical. It puts truth in the atmosphere. Truth is attracted to itself. If you get 2 or 3 people start telling the truth, everybody in the room wants to get something. Amen. Come on, Major, what you got?
Truth be told, I wasn't really sure how to word this. I went to prison, working out 15 hours a day, running up and downstairs, driving state. So I never smoked weed. At the time I meant that, that was good. Rehabilitation. And
That was mine. Say mine. That's mine.
My
Yes.
rehabilitation. And with that being said, somehow, somewhere, you get back to the world and you revert to your old self. As they say, you want to reintegrate.
I want to own every word that comes out of your mouth. When you say this, what you don't say, I want you to own.
I want to reintegrate.
Right.
But what they didn't explain was that word has duality, like the word compromise. You can compromise something and come to an agreement. You can compromise the integral structure with compromise. It's not always a good thing. And somehow, somewhere, I reverted back into my old thoughts of we were born into sin. That was basically me excusing this action. I got angry, and one of my coping mechanisms was a cigarette. And between myself rationalizing this, and you can make anything sound good in your head at the time. Okay, I'm angry, but if I don't smoke this, I'm going to do something violent. It seemed the lesser of the two evils at the time. And I had a whole group around me saying, yeah, go ahead, smoke, calm down, calm down, calm down, as opposed to saying, find a different way. I didn't say find a different way. I listened to the herd mentality. That, you know, we are sheep. Moving forward, it wasn't until I got back into the old thinking. And we always reward ourselves on negativity. I always reward myself with negativity. Again, sheep mentality. It's a long day. Let me have a long day. Let me have a so on and so forth. As opposed to, I got the same natural endorphins in 1,500 a day. I didn't get that elation of, yes, I challenged myself and beat my record.
Right.
So, upon having a conversation, I realized I have to take accountability for my actions. And I have to reward myself for things that I earned.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yeah, give him some luck right there. Yeah. Woo. Well, I love it. I'm glad you're here tonight, and we could just have a place to share, you know, and you know, get feedback or not, just be listened to, not judged. You know, we all just trying to figure out how to do this thing better. Somebody, Cedric, what you got? Because you got some things going on.
Yeah, temptation would never leave. It has been around since the beginning of time. And when I hear the word temptation, it brings me to the knowledge of a spiritual warfare within this world. Temptation set by the tempter knows what you love. And temptation plays hand in hand with impulsivity. Impulsivity is driven by your heart and what your heart desires. And temptations, it thrives on what your heart desires. For instance, I love my family. I love them more than anything. I'm easily to be tempted within my family, with my children, with my mother, with my father. Not so much as being tempted in another area. And
So this might be,
Flame.
and today temptation rose because I got something going on with my son. And it's serious.
okay.
And the temptation is telling me to go back to my old habits. You know, something going on, so go back to your old habits because everything that you were doing to got you this far being positive. And this is how the temptation is coming. It says, there's nothing gonna change in your life because you got your head screwed on straight. But look at this. Nothing in your life is gonna ever be right. So,
Come on.
so me being
How you doing?
self-conscious of my past, I challenged the temptation today. And I didn't resort to my old ways. I didn't take a drink. I didn't smoke. I didn't cuss all at the same time. Which the temptation came in so strong, and you don't know how to manage the emotions that you're getting from the effects of the temptation. That would have been my go-to.
That's right.
So I thought a lot. That's when I text you. And I said, you know what? That's a lie.
Wow.
That's a lie.
Yes, sir.
It's a lie. There's something going on, but I'm not gonna let that define my walk. So what do? I manage the emotions that I was going through versus acting out on impulse from the temptation that was coming into my life.
So mention your son then. What happened?
Yeah, so Jojo got arrested. Jojo is my 17-year-old son. Jojo and his friends took someone's car. And they took the car, and it was an expensive car. And they got on a high-speed chase. To make a long story short, they crashed the car out. And my son run around with this group of guys, these boys, and they thrive on reliving this game life. Like, we're gonna go out, we're gonna take somebody out of their car, we're gonna put guns on them, and once we get them out of their car, we're gonna jump in the car and we're gonna drive off, and we're gonna ride around in this car like this is our car.
Right.
And they got a game out that simulates the same behavior.
Grand Theft Auto.
So my son was driving this.
How old is he?
He's 17. My son was driving a $50,000 BMW SUV. The police chased him and wouldn't back off. The police chased him until he crashed the car out. He totaled the car. When I seen the picture of the car, I wondered, how did he even walk away? The car is almost disintegrated. The police officer the police officer called my mom because he didn't have identification on him, and the police wanted to ID him. So he asked him his name. He said, my name is Joseph Christian Beatty. Who is your parents? My granny got custody of me. My granny is in Brooklyn Park. Her name is Reverend Mary. And this is the phone number. So the police officer called my mom and said, Miss Beatty, do you know a Joseph Beatty? She said, yes, I do. He said, could you describe how he looked? She said, if you have him, send me a picture. I'll tell you if that's him. The police officer sent my mom a picture of my son. I have the picture in my phone. It's my son. And they charged him with carjacking, possession of a firearm with a federal what they call it,
Elongated.
irrelegated. It had an extended clip in it.
God.
And it had a bump stock on it.
Oh, the switch?
Yeah, so right there, that alone, the feds is all over that because they had that on the news about these little things that they putting on these handguns and turning them into machine guns.
Right.
And to seal it off, he had some Xanax pills.
God.
All of that. And when I got out, I talked to him because I knew that he was going off on the wrong path, and I was talking to him about school and stuff, and he texted me and said, you know what, Dad, I want you to register me in school. And I said, okay, well, son, that's good. You get your diploma, man, you gotta come up out of the streets. Only two things gonna happen, kid. And he looked at me like, only two things? It's only two things that's gonna happen to you. And I was talking to him. You gonna die, you gonna go to jail, you gonna go to prison. I said, that's the end of the book. It's no, you're not gonna get rich doing what you're doing. You're not gonna write no novel, you ain't gonna be a Nobel Prize winner, and none of that. Two things gonna happen to you. Die.
Yeah. Well,
So I just wanted to share that, and the temptation is powerful.
yes.
It's powerful, and I know I learned a lot. I learned a lot.
So where's he at now?
Let's give him some love, though. Right here.
He downtown. Juvenile detention.
Yeah. And so that's because, it's an ugly thing. But I appreciate you calling, reaching out. Everybody in here, we got kids, and we're struggling. We're struggling with them kids, especially those kids that were born during our time in the streets or during our time in prison.
Yeah.
The combination of them two.
Yeah.
Them children have a hard time finding their self. They're wanderers. They're doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Yeah. And, they saying one thing one minute, and they saying something else the next minute. They're getting high some.
Yeah.
This car thing is turned into some weird spooky kind of
It's kind of
video game that has come alive.
It's too easy.
And when that kid Samaje was here, when he said his name, I turned around and I looked at him.
Does your son know him?
Exactly. You done nipped it in the bud. See, he didn't know that because I didn't say,
Sure.
you've been with my son. I didn't say that. I just, I got confirmation. I got confirmation that day that the same Samaje that JoJo talks about is the same Samaje that was sitting here with his mother, and he does the same thing.
Brother. A couple quick things, man. That's so deep, man. It's so deep. Let's just have one moment of peace just to think about your son and your children and what you're going through. Boy. I'm glad Cedric came to group tonight that he could flush that out a little bit and have some place where he could come and have, a forum where he could get that off his heart, because he just fresh. You ain't been home now but 3 months, or how many?
Not even 3 months.
It ain't 3 months.
It ain't been 3 months yet. It ain't been 2 months yet.
Okay, so, hey, Will, because up here, if Mary Moriarty doesn't doesn't bump him up to adult, he got a shot. He might be able to pull it if they don't bump him up. You say he's 17, or he just turned, or he's close to 18?
He just turned as of April.
Anything else on his record?
That could be
Nothing,
helpful.
he ain't got nothing.
That's good.
17.
That's good.
So he just turned, and Rashad, I'll come to you in a minute. He just turned, which could be helpful. The blows to it are the fact that, what's my man's name, the federal prosecutor downtown, Andy Scover, something like that. He done made it a federal offense.
That's for carjacking.
Yes. And that may take it out of Mary's jurisdiction. If you take it out of Mary's jurisdiction, it makes it a federal deal, and then that's a different can of worms.
Yes, indeed.
Now, the feds have a program right now, and the supervisor of the federal probation live right around the corner from here. We have a relationship with him, and we can really kind of up here already bring him into the discussion. And I think that's a good idea, but if I have your permission, I may bring him to the group next week. But they do have a program where they give you your time, the feds, if you're a teen. They stay it. And they put you on federal probation. But it's really strict, because if you break it with a new case, they give them both to you consecutively.
They don't run them concurrent.
They don't run them concurrent. You get ready to go sit for them there. They say, look, you don't get this, right? And you're playing with the feds. It's a different ball game. They do have a federal probation period, a program that tries to keep juvenile offenders away from the penitentiary. Yeah. So, and I can tell you the name of it after we talk a little while. I'll figure it out.
Okay.
John and then Rashad.
What you talking
about?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Antonio, you next. Antonio, you next.
That is very strict. You can't have a TV in that situation. If they go like that, weapon.
Yeah.
So much contract that we're doing, and change that over. That had already been sent with the weapon. It is federal
The carjacking is federal too now, John.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, the more serious
The
one.
weapon.
But they don't wanna know what this weapon, now, I didn't say, it's called a ghost gun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the ghost gun too?
This gun was made,
Yeah, because you can make it.
this gun was made off the internet.
Yeah.
3D
Ordered it
printer.
3D.
Yeah, 3D printer.
And you put it together.
No serial
No,
number.
it's a Glock 39 with no serial numbers. It's a ghost gun. And the feds is cracking down on these ghost guns,
Yeah.
especially with these enhancements for them. They not playing.
Let me just tell you all this in case you might have missed this, but just last week in Brooklyn Center, that's where they live.
Brooklyn Park.
Hold up, okay. Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center, they busted a small little ring of brothers
Yeah, I saw it.
that were making these ghost guns and then distributing.
He had hundreds of them.
Yeah, and these guys are, and they're young boys,
kids, yep.
they're young boys, and
I got the
they're facing
article
like gobbles of time, some kind of unimaginable number of time.
Wow.
You know, go ahead, no, it's Antonio, go ahead, Antonio, I'm sorry.
Well, I want to talk about temptation because I ignore temptations. And I want to equate that to gambling. Because when you wasn't here those times that Will was doing the class, I had spoken to him about my plan that I had made when I came home, you know, because I was selling drugs, as you know, before, and I was and still is used to having thousands in my pocket. So when I was incarcerated, I, was thinking of ways how I can come up to keep money in my pocket. So that's why I told you I come up with the lottery thing I was gonna do, and I told Will gambling. That was my two to keep me from the temptation from selling drugs. So recently, that's what I do. I gamble, and I have been wondering, and I would like feedback after I get through saying this. Is like I went like the other day with 2,000, and I'll win, but here's my problem. Like when I go in, and I set a goal for when I go in there. So if I take 2,000, I expect to make 100 profit off each 1,000. So that means I'm only asking for 200 profit, right? So that means I leave out with 2,200. So I do that. It's easy. I mean, you can easily do that if you know what you're doing and know this game. But my problem is like when I go in, just like today, I went in with a stack, and immediately when I go in there, I put 150. My goal was 300. I hit. But that other, what he was saying, that demon, whatever you call it, was like, you can get more. And this happens to me every time. Because I always make the goal, because it's impossible for you not to make it how this game is designed. But every time I go over the goal and continue to play, you lose everything. So now it's like I lost like $3,000 and over $3,000 in like 4 days. So that leaves me with 1,400 in my bank account. I counted as 1,400 in my bank account. So now I'm thinking, like, cause it's like I equate this to someone getting high, like chasing your money as opposed to a person chasing a high. So my thing is how I'm trying to figure this out, because today I said I'm done, but I know I'm not. I know I'm not. I'm telling myself I'm done today, but I know I'm not done. So I want feedback on, like, help me with this.
That's deep. But give me, wait a minute, hold on. Give some love right there. I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming and just laying it out there. And Will did kind of speak with me a little bit when I was out of town. That you had shared, and I was grateful to that you came and shared your truth. So he's asking for feedback. So who got something for him? 1, 2, okay, 3. Go ahead.
One of the things I had to realize
So look right at him.
in the process of my recovery, which I still go through on a daily basis, is you can't solve a problem until you are all of the factors into the equation. And one of the things I had to realize, gambling is an addiction. It is just as deadly as anything else that they call legal. Because you have to be 21 to do it.
18.
Right.
Some places, but let's keep it mixed throughout the boat. Moving forward. Now, because it's legal, it does not mean it's necessarily for you. It's like, guys, for you to take care of them, I say more. When you stop addictions, you have to stop all addictions. When I stop addiction, I have to stop all addictions.
There you go. Let's leave it right there. Give him some love. All right. His thing is still an addiction. Rashad, you're next.
I would say, like, I was just gonna angel back on what he said, is like gambling, drinking, dope, mood altering, they all activate the exact same parts of the brain. They release a chemical called dopamine. You know what I'm saying? Social media, that's where the term dope comes from.
Yes.
Dopamine.
Yes, good.
Dopamine. So it's like you said, it's like the high. No, it is. It's the exact same thing. And you need to like just the fact that you're owning it says you already know what's up. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, keep the bread in your pocket. Like for real, it's hard enough people to get money out here right now. You just tricking it off in the hopes of doubling when you could have like got an investment account, which is like some real gambling, but it's like the return is even better, and it like widens you to the market, and you know what I mean, like it's a more profitable thing to get into. You know what I mean, it can be just as deadly if you don't know what you're doing, but at the same time, gambling is just a quick hit. You know what I'm saying? You're not even looking at the long term. Like you could be stacking that bread right now. Just imagine where you'd be if you just put that away somewhere. Like all the money you want to gamble, just put it up, because you clearly can't control the urge. You know what I'm saying? Like that's basically what you're saying. Like maybe you just need somebody to tell you this, which is fine. I need it too every now and then. That's why I come to the group. But straight up, bro, you got all the answers right here. You know what I mean? Like you already know what's up. Like why are you playing around? Like it just we drive by people right on the street, homeless. Right off the bridge, under the bridge, living there. I'm sure some of them had gambling addictions too. Something to think about. Pass.
That's good. Come on. It's getting good in here. Who was next? Will?
I can hear you.
Okay. Hey, Blue, I want you to get in this. Go ahead.
I'm gonna think about my past. Okay, so if I didn't have the means, I got it illegally because I didn't have it legitly. So I'm like, I want this, but I can't have it legitly, so I have to get it illegally. So what I'm planning, I'm thinking, I'm making myself hard because I gotta do something to someone or something, and it's not gonna be nice. And so I'm using my brain to put me in a situation to get the thing that I want. Whether it comes easy or it comes hard, I'm determined to get it. No matter how far it takes me back, I'm gonna get back up and get that thing that I wanted. When my thinking locks in that way, I'm not a good friend, I'm not a good supporter, I'm not a good worker, I'm not just good at all. I don't show up at church because I'm so obsessed with getting that thing that I wanted so much. And I agreed that I would do illegal things to get it. So why am I doing all these positive? No, just do the thing and get it.
Right.
And so it's when we visit Las Vegas, it's like unless you own the casino, use a mark. That's just it.
That's good. Hey, wait.
Yeah, you are what they're looking for.
Yeah, right.
They want you to come. Unless you own it. You are the victim.
They said house always
you're the
wins.
victim.
But look what he said. I loved he was being honest, and actually describing me too in my own life. And I think it's a little bit about you. I hear that's similar. Is I was really addicted to money. I have to see it. I had to see money. Money. I had to see it, and something about that. When I was low on my money, I become more desperate. This is what I'm hearing here. And in desperation, then I would do some things I would normally not do in my normal operating modality, but now I'm desperate because I need to see that money. And I'm still like that, except for I made peace with myself about what I'm willing to do or not do for money, right? And I'm still like that. My son right here, he'll tell you, he'll say he gonna send me a Cash App, or I'm gonna send him. I'll send something. He want me to say, Pop, do you have Cash App? No, I don't have any Cash App. I have cash. Say cash.
Cash.
Okay, because I'm 100% convinced that whoever runs Cash App is like a casino. And at some point they're gonna hit the switch and everybody's running. Now, I'm trying to help Will. Just okay. If you can't see my whole point, just see half of it, and just keep half of it. You know, somewhere where you can put it. Because and this is just this is what I hear, Antonio, in you. With that, I feel is similar to my own addiction in my past. But what I ended up having to do was make peace. Say, make peace.
Make peace.
Listen, that's it. I had to make peace. Say, make peace.
Make peace.
Yeah, I had to make peace with my bankroll. This, look at me though. This is such a good group. See, I had to ask myself, do I really like money? Or am I pretending to like it only just to spend it as fast as I get it? So when I made peace, they make peace.
Make peace.
And I said, I really like it. That means I want to stop shopping, stop looking around, stop looking for things to spend it on, stop looking for quick get rich quick schemes, and stack. Somebody say stack.
Stack.
So see, when you're a working man, say a working man.
Working man.
Yeah, you gotta stack. And so if you a working man, but you spend your money like a player, you know, then you're a fool. I'm just saying, I'm just foolishness. Because, you know, and I'm up here over these years, y'all been knowing me, very, very seldom have I ever been broke. And I'm just only telling this, been, you know, y'all been with me 17, 18, 19 years. I'm just saying, you know, I made peace. Say, make peace.
Make peace.
Oh, wait. I just want you to hear back here. See? Yeah. See, what you gotta do is make peace with your money. And what you're deciding is, do I want my money or do I just want money to spend it on somebody else and what they got? Anyways, like this here, when I'm working my job, I don't care if I'm only getting 50 bucks, boy, I ain't spending that 50. If I just hold on to it so tight, and I like to look at it too. I want to see it. Do I still got it? Yes. Let me see. Let me check to see. Is I still right there where I put it at? It is a 50, or it's 100. And I always believe if I got another 100, then I can sit and think. I don't have to be anxiety don't come over me. I don't have to deal with my own anxiety. I only get anxiety when I'm broke. Boy, y'all might not recognize me. Should that come about? And I just am grateful. I'm just grateful to the Creator for just saying, look, just relax. You up here got a good job, making good money. You can't let the people trick you with all them lights. And I'm gonna tell you something, all the casinos are addictive. You know, you walk in there, start hearing the coins, shake, and then somebody else is hit over there and the red light is spinning. Woo, 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 woo. And then they say, oh, wait a minute, that machine is hot right there. I'm gonna hit, let's hit that one. You know, or you know what, so you mess around there and let all that glitter, and you actually think you're having fun and it's all beautiful. And like Esau said, they just really trying to knock you off and go on to the next one. They ain't got no feelings about what happened to your money. They don't have no concern about your rent and other things, your child support, none of that. They don't care nothing about that. And matter of fact, by the time you done got to the car with all your problems, they breaking somebody else right there. The same thing. I wait for all the amens in here to die down. Go ahead.
Yeah, I had something, Antonio. I'm gonna tell you something. Gambling's been in my family ever since I was a little boy. My father almost lost our house messing with them horses, racetracks, going to racetracks. My brother got a divorce. His wife divorced him. My oldest brother, his wife divorced him because he was doing the same thing that my daddy was doing. So he lost out on it, and my father, we just lucky that his brother coming to the rescue gave him some money so he can catch up on his mortgage.
Wow.
Had a long talk with his older brother, and then he quit gambling. But we was about to be out on the streets.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't for his brother. Listen, my sister had gambling so bad, she gambled away the rent money and stuff for the casino and the lottery and all that, you know, until her husband told her, you know, either gonna be me or the gambling. So she had to quit. I ain't seen me, I lost, I'm gonna just tell you, I got put out of my apartment because I took the rent money and 2 months in a row, they're playing it on lottery.
Yeah, yeah.
So they kicked me out
Yes, sir.
with my kids.
Oh, my God.
My wife's niece lost. I went down south to her house. She had a beautiful house built.
Mm-hmm.
She worked for the post office making good money.
Mm.
She had a 4-bedroom brick house, 2 bathrooms.
Steve, I ain't forgot about you.
Listen, on 450 square feet, that house cost $500,000. She lost that house
Wow.
going to the casino.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just tell you, I ain't met nobody yet come out ahead.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Give some love, give some love. Bluto, what you got? Down there, you quiet?
Just trying to be a good listener,
You
but
trying to be a
however,
good listener?
addiction kills one way or another.
Oh, yeah.
I believe that.
You believe it?
I believe that.
Uh-huh.
I see it a lot.
Wow.
And I try to move forward from it.
Well, you're a smart man.
Dangerous stuff, yeah.
Blue's getting ready to go down south and see his people, you know, and,
Keep it
I really
safe.
appreciate you getting the opportunity to travel right there. I'm gonna share, Rashad, I'm gonna hold you up. I wanna share this week's edition, say edition.
Edition.
Last week's lesson, say last week's lesson.
Last week's lesson.
Which was,
Temptation.
thank you very much. And so now, to watch this, and I'm just coming at it a different way than I did last week. Okay, now, for my birthday, my wife bought me a book. We sometimes, you know, my wife is a smart woman. Sometimes we sit there at the kitchen table and we're having conversations, and sometimes the conversations are very rich and very in-depth. I enjoy those times when we can, our minds are just feeding off of each other and we're creating or thinking together, you know, in a positive way. It's another kind of level of relationship that I value, that I share with my wife. She brought me this book, says the body keeps the score. The body keeps the score. The body, say the body. The body keeps the score. Okay, so fundamentally, what this is Bessel van der Kolk is a German Swede who has written this book. And I didn't think it was gonna be, you know, right for me. And she said, just honey, just check it out. Just check it out. I read the first couple chapters so slow, and it was really a slow read. But man, I got to the next couple of chapters and the thing hit like a ton of bricks. I'm gonna share with you what Mr. Van der Kolk was talking about. Now, in his, he's a researcher. In his study, I want you to catch this, because it's so important, and it's right on top of what we did last week, but it's just coming at it a different way. They have a topic that they chose. Let me read this to you. Preoccupied with so many lingering questions about traumatic stress. Traumatic stress, that's what we're talking about tonight. Cedric, that's what you're talking about. I became intrigued with the idea that the nascent field of neuroscience could provide some answers, and started to attend the meetings of the American College of Neuropsychopharmacology. In 1984, the ACNP offered many fascinating lectures about drug development, but it was not until a few hours before my scheduled flight back to Boston that I heard a presentation by Steve Mayer of the University of Colorado, who had collaborated with Martin Seligman of the University of Pennsylvania. His topic, listen to this, was learned helplessness in animals. What was this topic?
Learned helplessness in animals.
Okay, catch that. Okay, now listen to this. Catch this now. They called this condition inescapable shock. Being a dog lover, I realized that I could never have done such research myself, but I was curious about how this cruelty would affect the animal. Now listen to this very carefully. After administering several courses of electric shock trauma, the researchers opened the door of the cages and then shocked the dogs again. I want you to catch it. Inside these cages are these dogs. They are shocking them dogs, sending voltage through them.
While they in the cage.
While they're in the cage. Hey, what's going on? How you doing? What's happening? Thanks for coming. Give a Nick a little hand. This is our sister running for city council over in Ward 1.
Yes,
Yeah,
Ward 1.
Over there, yeah.
Oh, hey, nice to meet you.
So you just right in time. I'm just talking about this research that Vandy Clerk was doing. Okay, and this is what Vandy Clerk was saying. After administering several courses of electric shock, say electric shock.
Electric shock
Is trauma, say trauma.
Trauma.
The researchers opened the door of the cages and then the shocked dogs, and then shocked the dogs again. Now the door of the cage is open, but they shocked them again. A group of control dogs, that means dogs who weren't shocked, a group of control dogs who had earlier been subjected to inescapable shock made no attempt to flee even when the door was wide open. They just laid there, whimpering and defecating. The mere opportunity to escape does not necessarily make traumatized animals or people take the road to freedom. Like Mayer and Solomon's dogs, many traumatized people simply give up rather than risk experimenting with new options that stay stuck in the fear that they know. So this researcher is suggesting that trauma, say trauma, shock, say shock, yeah, can absolutely condition you to stay in the same position you have always been. And every time that you would try, you would think, somehow, I see a way. Or you took a bump or a drink or a smoke or beer or whatever it is with these things we're talking about tonight, they give you a prophetic unction. I'm out of here, I'm getting out of here. Except for right when you get ready to leave out of that cage, you lay back down and say, you know what? I'm just gonna stay right here with these dope fiends. I'm staying right here with this low life population. I'm staying right here with these fools because I have been shocked and traumatized to the point that I'm no longer able to rely on my own willpower to get me where I want to go. Now, this is what we were talking about last week. Last week we talked about
Temptation.
This week we're talking about trauma and somehow allowing shock to keep you locked up even though the door is open. Nobody's coming to open the door for you, man. The door is already open. You don't have to stay in the shape you was in. You can rise up, can't you?
Yeah, right.
Okay, I'm almost done. This is love. Say love. It's all love in here. It's all love. I was riveted by Mayor's account. What they had done to those poor dogs was exactly what was happening to my traumatized patients. They too had been exposed to somebody or something who had inflicted terrible harm on them, harm they had no way of escaping. I made a rapid mental review of the patients I had treated. Almost all had in some ways been trapped or immobilized, unable to take action, say take action.
Take action.
Unable to take action to stave off the inevitable, say the inevitable.
Inevitable.
Right. This is why the Department of Corrections will tell you, or if you're listening, that everybody who comes here is gonna be back here in 3 years or less. And some CEOs will tell it to you to your face.
Yes, absolutely.
And you can be offended by what they said or how they said it. And whenever they say, they're not saying it for good purposes, they're saying to hurt you or make you feel bad about yourself. But the truth of the matter is, it's the truth. And the reason why they continue to prepare for those folks to come back is because they've been traumatized to a point of what they call learned helplessness. Now watch what we say. I'm gonna go a little bit deeper. Can I go a little bit deeper? I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, come on, speak back to me. Can I go a little bit deeper? Okay, I want to use some individuals. If you're struggling, this is love though. But if the individuals are watching the tape, I'm trying to love on you. Because here's what happens with me. Sometimes when I met you, or not sometimes, but every time, I met you in the penitentiary. When I met you in the penitentiary, you was already receiving shock treatment. What caused our class to hit you the way it did is because the class hit you with another kind of shock. And this shock was giving you unction and ability to overcome the shock that you was already getting. And this is what sent the waves through, the radio waves through all the penitentiaries about what POP was doing, because we were sending out a shock that was equal to or greater than the shock that the penitentiary was giving you itself. Now watch this carefully. Somehow, this is what you always telling me. You say, well, Pop, when you came in talking about no game, right? No game sent a shock through the penitentiary. We still talking about it now. Right now today. Now watch this, what I'm telling you. So I noticed that when we get to these places of learned helplessness, listen to this. You start lying. You lie to yourself for no reason. You lie to your family. You lie to your friends, your woman, your man. You lie. And the reason why is unconsciously. Say unconsciously. Unconsciously. Okay. Consciously means you're aware of what you're doing. Unconscious means that you're not aware of something that's being done to you, and it's being done unconsciously. Unconsciously, you are seeking out the cage. Lord, this church is awful quiet. You can't quite see it because you're looking at these other things, but the truth of the matter is all of that is just leading you really back to the same spot. Because you haven't been willing to purge yourself. Say purge. That means get rid of that old man. All of that old thinking, all of that. You got to get rid of it all. Say all. All is a big word. It means everything with the exception of nothing. When you give up all of it, you have given up everything with the exception of nothing. This is why when you haven't given up all, you could say a cigarette started me. That's right. A beer urged me. A drink soothed me. A bump took me back to the cage that I came out of in the first place. I'll just wait for all the amens to die. Woo! Okay, now I'm gonna close it by reading this. This is back to the experiment. I just want to finish This guy said, I missed my plane that day because I had to talk with Steve Mayer. His workshop offered clues, not only about the underlying problems of my patients, but also potential keys to their resolution. For example, he and Sutherland had found that the only way to teach the traumatized dog to get off the electric grid when the doors were open was to repeatedly drag them out of their cages. Whew. Boy, you didn't catch that, but I'm gonna break it out for you right here. See, watch. When if you ever trained a dog or you ever had a dog, you know, sometimes the dog will be so frightened, especially if you get it from the kennel or the dog pound or something like this here, or another family where they were used to being, but now they, you know, but the dog will just want to stay in that cage, and you know, it won't want to move, it won't want to come out because it's been traumatized, it's been shocked. Say shock. Shock. And so look, okay, you with me? I'm gonna jump you over to public school. Here go all these children we now have in public school. Their mamas are getting high. There's fentanyl in the bedroom of the 2-year-old's room, and he just put his hands on it, and he's dead. And it's shot. This is just the other day.
Right.
And so in his shots, the rest of the family members and the rest of the community, George Floyd put us in, say the word, say it loud. Oh, you can't talk back to me? It puts us in what?
Shock.
Yes, and when you go into shock, you don't realize that this is traumatizing you. And we continue to see we're murdered left and we're murdered right. We're beat left and beat right. And when we're not, they're not beating us, we're shooting and beating our own self. And right now we have killed more of each other than the Ku Klux Klan ever did. I read a statistic the other day. Oh, wait a minute, I'm teaching good tonight. I read something the other day that said we killed more blacks than the Vietnam War, which killed more people than any war ever. We have killed more blacks than people that died in the Vietnam War. Now we are a nation that is traumatized and suffering. We are in shock. It's what we look. And if you can't find some healthy ways for you to manage your shock, don't try to pretend like you ain't in it. I already know you there. Because I'm right there with you, but you got to figure out these healthy ways, Major. You got to figure out these healthy ways to manage your shock. Otherwise, it'll take you back where you came from. That's what it's designed to do.
Come on.
Shit is a little shock. Okay, I'm almost done. And here's what he said. For example, he and Seligman had found out the only way to teach traumatized dogs to drag him out of the cage. Listen now, watch this. Watch this. And expose them exponentially to other sights, sounds, smells, environment, people, standards. Say standards.
Standards.
This is really important, to expose yourself to different standards. Sometimes when you get paid, take somebody you really care for out to a really nice place that person maybe normally haven't gone to, and you never even been there.
There you go.
What's the name of the place Will on hit up in where they keep giving?
Pogo
de Chao. Go down. If you ever go down to Fogo de Chao, and look here what they do in Fogo de Chao. It's a steak. It's a meat. And they come by. They got this little stick. They got a Brazilian, right? And so it's got a little twister. But they got a little placard. One side of it is green and one side of it is red.
Right.
So when you start out with the green side. And they come around to your table and they serving you and they cutting up stuff on the green side. And and they're real nice about it. And it seemed like, wow, you just might keep it green, see what else they bring. And they keep it green, but look, somewhere they adding all this up. So I remember I took my wife to it, and, I never did show her what the bill was, right? And so maybe I took her, just me and her, and maybe I spent $650, right? We're just two. Watch. Wait a minute, so what? She suggests that she's doing a meeting with some of her friend girls. She suggests for the child as a place to go for the meeting, it's 15 ladies.
Oh, Lord.
I didn't explain to her nothing about no turnover, nothing or nothing, because I'm getting ready to pay for whatever whatever you get ready to do. So the rules didn't apply. It was dinner. The rules didn't apply. It's a little cheaper during lunch if you want a little break. But watch this. Watch this. I'm almost through. Watch this. She took 15 people. This is after they done finished this big conference. They went to 4th of July and ate up everything. Them chicks was eating out like 50 going west. They brought the bill out. My wife said it was $2,200. And look, she said, look, can we do the dishes?
Show me the dishes.
I didn't know.
Them sisters had to throw up all this plastic, they put up all that plastic in there. They added up all that money. That was a house, a mortgage payment, everything.
Yeah.
My point to you is this: if you don't set a standard, say a standard that is higher than your normal standard of living, then you don't have anything to shoot for.
Right.
I went to the football game. It was terrible. I go every opening day for the Vikings. I just see one game. But look, I'm sitting right here. Here go the Vikings right there. Closer, just right there. They're right there. I mean, I can say, hey, what you think? What's number 18's name?
Jeff.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff. You can hear me.
Yeah.
But and look, I want my daughter and my wife and my son. I want them to know when we go someplace, we gonna go in style. We gonna set a
Standard.
Say it louder than that.
Standard.
Say it louder than that.
Standard.
Yeah, we're gonna set a standard that I want them to be able to follow when I'm no longer there to set the standard. The bar is already set.
Yeah.
So look, even when you ain't hitting them good, you can still set a standard.
That's right.
Right? You say, well, I'm not gonna do this right here. And guess what? I got $50 and I'm not spending but $10 of it. When I come back, I'm gonna have at least $40. And what you're doing is setting a standard for your living. I have a version, say a version. Of being broke. I can't stand it. I can't deal with that. I don't know what my disposition, look how I am right now. Yeah. Think about what my disposition could be if I was broke. I can't deal with that. Right? That's not something that my disposition is wired for. I'm wired for prosperity. I'm wired to give it to you, send it to you, get it back myself, send it to my children who will accept it. When I read this experiment, I knew full well this was about Pop Guy and about some of us learning helplessness. Being afraid, say afraid. Afraid to get out of that old trap. Willing to stay in that same old box. I'm gonna say this one more thing and then I'm gonna get out. I'll wait till after the meeting to say that. Hey, y'all getting anything out of this?
Oh, yes. I know I am. No game.
No game. And so, whether it's temptation on one hand, or this learned helplessness, on the other hand, right? You have to set a higher standard. And I want everybody to take a look at that picture right there in the back. Those men are all pop guys. They are on the stage at the Capri Theater. Most of y'all was there. And this is where we were celebrating, listen to what I'm going to tell you, celebrating the restoration of voting rights for 55,000 people all around the state of Minnesota. And each one of the guys who were up there, or a majority of them, were advocating for that change at the legislative level. In order for you to do that, you cannot be a victim of learned helplessness. There are those of us in the group who have, every group has levels. And you trying to reach up to your next level, that has got to be your charge. How do I get to my next level? Let me just tell you something right here. Sometimes when you rolling, sometimes don't always buy no used car, no old hoopty. Sometimes just go to the store and buy the newest car you possibly can. That's you. See, look, because I'm gonna tell you why. And Tony have been driving. He's been driving the hoopty since I met him.
That's right.
But
Still got it.
Look what I'm saying to you. But you sometimes have to set a different standard for yourself, and you're living now. How old are you now?
51.
Son, the window is still open.
I just don't like notes.
I understand, but you like to gamble the money away. Yeah, so what's the difference if you give it back to the casino and whatever? Ain't nothing to argue about. So here we are tonight. Did anybody get anything else?
Oh, yeah.
Neek I just want her to holler at us about what she's doing over there in St. Paul. And matter of fact, I got to give her some money. I told her I was going to give her 500, but I don't think I got 500 in my pocket. But
Thank you. Thank you.
Take that for right now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, give her a hand because she's running hard over there. She's fighting. She's trying to serve her people over there. She got the right stuff.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, she ain't playing no game.
I'm getting so filled right now. I just need a moment because I just feel like I walked in and you just saged the whole room, just what is necessary, what I've lived through, what I've overcame, and like even the principles, that you instill on the daily, on the weekly here. I want to just give it up to you, Pops, because your ministry has just been so magnetic.
Wow.
Very magnetic, and even the impact that you have here, you can't put a price to it. This is priceless, and especially what everybody else is doing outside of here too, and how we're carrying on this legacy and changing lives.
Right.
You can't put a price to it, but there's a cost when this doesn't exist. And many of us have bared that cost in many ways. And when I say us, I'm also somebody who's been impacted. I've served some time. How I came into this work, what I guess I'll call justice, work or advocacy, was, the first love of my life. My dad was incarcerated. And so I was faced with the reality of our justices. I was faced with the reality of how families end up in devastation, right? Because of the choices. And what I kind of call misguided ambition, right? Trying to survive, but not having the tools, right? Not having the education. And I just think what we're doing here is so powerful because it's necessary. Like you said, let's not fake the funk. All of us are living in some type of form or have lived in some type of form of survival, right? I think that voice and that experience is needed on city council. The reason why I'm here, I'm just gonna cut straight to the chase because I'm on a mission to win. Okay, I just came back, I just came from a candidate forum earlier today, and I don't know if you've been, checking the press, but there's 8 people in my ward. The most historic level of candidates in this ward. I'm not afraid, I'm not scared. Well, no, I'm saying 8 people in my ward running for my seat. I feel very confident about it. This time around, I have the level of experience. I still have the level of expertise. I have the connections. I'm proud to be endorsed by our mayor, Melvin Carter. He has seen my work. Last year, I was Attorney General Keith Ellison's political director. We reelected him. We was working everywhere. You know, you saw me everywhere across the state. So we built not only the political capital, but this is a ward that I'm running after. That's my hometown, born and raised. So many businesses there that have connections to my family is there. We established this year, and the city of St. Paul established a St. Paul Reparations Commission. It's one of very few, about 7 across the country, that a city is going to focus on reparations. I'm Rondo raised. My family comes from that history that was disrupted when the freeway came through and destroyed over 300 businesses and over 700 homes, and they estimated actually about $3 billion worth of wealth was extracted from that neighborhood. So when we're looking at what this seat represents justice. This seat also represents a voice that has not been there ever. You know, when we're talking about reparations, we usually talk about slavery, but we don't talk about the impacts of mass incarceration from the 80s and the 90s and the war on drugs, right? And in a time right now that, you know, on the state level, we're very progressive, and Minnesota is leading across the country on a lot of things. Thankfully for Pop Guys also too, with Restore the Vote. I've been here, you know, years ago, organizing, you know, and advocating. And just to be very clear, what I need boots on the ground, and I need people to show up and let people know that a real one is on the ballot. To be honest, and let people know the work that I'm doing and the vision that I have, and just reaching those people who don't believe their vote counts. Also reaching the people who don't even know they have a vote. And we did a great job passing that law, but I've been raising money. I've raised about $25,000 in this month. And I'm not playing around because I don't want to, thank you. I don't want money to be a barrier, you know, to that point of learned helplessness. Usually the narrative, especially for Black women like me, young Black women, we are caught up in that narrative of we don't get the support because of who we are. And I just disrupt all of that, you know? I reject all of it. I'm not gonna allow anyone to have me stuck in an excuse. I'm not about making excuses. I'm training up to be the next city council member, so I can't make excuses when it's serving. So it's all about finding solutions and building a team for people to actually get what the services they need.
I'm gonna stop right there, but give her a big hand. So she's asking us to come forward, and what I'm saying to her is any night but Tuesday night, you know, we could put together a team of folks to pass out flyers and tracts and engage people personally. So when can we do that?
I would say Saturday, October 7th is 30 days before the elections, which is November 7th. So October 7th is our GOTV, our Get Out the Vote kickoff. So I don't know if you're familiar with Nathaniel Kalik, Nick Davis out there in St. Paul. So he's donated his entire building to us. So we have an office space. We're still in the same office space we were at last time. So we are doing our kickoff there. We're trying to get the AG to also be there to do the kickoff. Yep. And we're so October 7th is one of those days, but we're always every single day.
Well, let's stick with October 7th. That gives us time enough to prepare. I'm gonna mention on behind that with something I hadn't said. No, I'm gonna leave that. I'll talk about that next week. So October 7th, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be with flyers. I'm gonna be knocking on doors and I'll be trying to win votes for me because I know she's a hit. She's the bomb, and it's her time.
Okay.
So, you know,
I'll
so.
be there as well.
Yeah, okay, so, you know, so we'll gather up here and we'll talk about this. We'll send some stuff out, have Wayne send some stuff out, check your email or your text, however you get pop messages. We'll gather up and we can either take the van over or however we're gonna do it. You send to Wayne, stop by there and get his email address and send all what you just said to Wayne, so he's giving us the right information.
Yeah,
Is that
okay.
all right?
I get that.
Go ahead, Rashawn. Oh,
Powerful work you're doing. Sure, very proud of you. I wanted to just highlight him real quick about something, and it's information for all of you all. For y'all who have sons who are kind of.
That's Major
Yeah,
or Cedric?
right here, whose son got caught up.
Cedric.
All y'all who have sons who may or may not be in the street. I work for ESS in Hennepin County, and they get caught up in trials. What I've been able to do is I can kind of talk to some of these judges, because I work for disparity reduction, and I can talk to some of the teams that are doing the prosecuting, and you can let them know, like, they're gonna ask, what's his plan? If he's gonna be out here, because they're not really trying to lock people up, they're trying to keep people out. So they're gonna wanna know, what's the plan? What are you trying to do? So if they ask you that, tell them, I can get him enrolled in school. I don't know what his academic thing is. And I get them tutors too, and other educational resources. That's my whole job with what I do. So if they ask you that, let them know I'd like to get him re-enrolled in education, and whoever I talk to prosecutors and attorneys as well. Whoever that is, just let them know. I can give my card and everything, and just let them know to reach out to ESS, and I can get him plugged in.
Yeah, if you can give me a card.
So after the meeting.
And that's for anybody who's
y'all
son or
connect-
whatever, daughter.
yeah, y'all connect and give that information. Rashad, you know, that's so powerful, man. And you know, give Rashad a little dap. Rashad, you know, is our newest homeowner. We're moving on this homeowner stuff. We're getting this homeowner stuff going. So make sure you connect
Yeah,
with
for sure,
Sid, and he got that information.
Appreciate it.
Will, I want you to close us out.
Well, I was just thinking, you know, we're so proud of you, Anika. But you know, I was thinking, you know, just imagine how things could be, right? If in all the offices we had a Anika, right? Just imagine, right? In all the offices, if we had an Anika, right? And that's why we have to get out there and support her, because that's how we get it done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It don't just happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That restorative vote, man, we had to work hard to make that happen.
Yeah.
But we made it happen, you know, and now over 55,000 people can vote who at first couldn't vote. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we may not be able to win every office, but we could definitely win that one. You know what I mean?
No, that's true.
We need to get out there, man, and I hope October the 7th, everybody could just put one day aside. Right, all the stuff, just a couple of, all the stuff we always do, that stuff ain't going nowhere. But just think, just for a couple hours, we could do something that we'll be so proud of. You know what I'm saying? And then when she wins, right, you'll know that you played a part.
Yeah, come on.
You know what I'm saying? Woo! She's gonna win.
I believe that.
We gonna win this time. Last time we was like that.
Yeah.
Much we know.
Yeah, we was out there last time. We gonna hear it again. Yeah, glory. Well, look, man, whatever. So this person, I don't know who this person is. He's walking in. Darcy.
Hello, thank you.
I'm Brother Shane. Darcy, we get ready to close, but what did you learn tonight?
You know, it was weird to see that, I was really touched by his story. The shocking the dog. I just got done doing a video with Brother Wayne, and I was saying after I did 30 years in prison, how I came out, and despite that, I have a poor self-esteem. When I'm in the environment, I have these gestures and twitches that I picked up in prison to show that I'm not proud, and try to make a mask that I don't have self-esteem to keep myself from being beaten down, chased down, cornered, thrown in sag, you know, and that's what the staff said, you're too proud, they want to take me down. So the self-esteem that I had, it's so weird. I masked any self-esteem that I had just to hold on to it. And it was like the shut down, like I'm out of prison. I've been out for like a year and a half, almost 2 years. And I caught myself doing that, talking to this girl, and I'm like, realized how closed in and how it's like I'm trying to, I got a bachelor's in science when I was there. I can't get nothing but fast food because I can't get over this. I can't make eye contact. I can't look confident. I can't look proud because I can't look like I like myself. I can't look like, because I'm afraid that it's punishable.
Right.
I'm afraid it's punishable.
Darcy, give Darcy a hand. What Darcy described was learned helplessness. But John right there can give you a mental health referral, and all of us in here, we use John and his agency, which is the Bryce Psychological Agency. So if you need a little help, won't you just turn around and get it? But we gotta get up out of here tonight, so come on here, let's pledge out. Manny! Put that in.
Did PJ come and cut your grass here?
Yes.
Get that log up out.
Right, come on in. Come on in. Come on, slide down, Rhea. Rhea gotta move down. We gotta move down. Manny gotta move down. Get Shelby in there. Who else? Are we missing anybody? Come on, slide down. We gotta move down a little bit. All right, here we go. Rhea. I will balance my family values. My goals. I will exercise wisdom. When I choose to eat. Read. And do. I am not helpless. I am somebody. I will strive to make all my relationships. Win-win. No deal. I am somebody. I do not suffer from helplessness. I will enjoy my life with a sense of humor, taking advantage of my opportunities, and learning from my misfortunes. That means I can take a licking, but I can keep on ticking, and I will still be better because of it. I will act upon circumstances rather than have them act upon me. I will on a daily basis be proactive with my goals. I will keep a check on my bankroll. I will on a daily basis pay close attention to my bankroll. I just want you to think about that. Nobody is paying attention to your money if you ain't paying no attention. I'm just trying to help you tonight. I will always protect my wisdom, my health, and my happiness. I will stay principle-centered, maintain a positive circle of influence. I will daily learn, commit, and do, because I am somebody. I will act according to the POP Leadership Institute, and be productive in my community, and my private life, because I am somebody. All right, give everybody a hug in here. Help clean up. Come on. Yeah.